Today on Match Play, host Ray Adams goes head-to-head with PGA Champions Tour star Michael Allen.
Hit it, hit it!
Michael Allen, welcome to Match Play with Ray Adams at the beautiful Fairmount Scottsdale Princess Resort. I am so happy. You and I have been trying to get together for a couple of 2-3 years on this, going back to the Olympic Club when you qualified for the US Open there again a couple of years back. And you're so kind to come from Hawaii. Thanks for making the trip just for me.
Looking good, right?
And I see you've got the pineapple shirt on. I love it. I love it. And that's okay. We've had a drip drop today, but we've got a gorgeous day going on out here at the beautiful Princess Resort. Michael, let's talk about your life a little bit. San Mateo, California. And let's tie that into a little bit of great wine a little later in our interview. But tell me about growing up in San Mateo, California, and how'd you get going in golf?
You know, it was a great place to grow up. Back in those days, there was about an hour of traffic going into the city and out, as opposed to now where it goes, you know, Silicon Valley and both ways. Growing up there, I just remember that because my father, you know, going into the city so early and stuff, to beat the traffic that was so nil and void compared to today.
Oh, yeah.
But
how'd you get started in golf?
Well, my father, we always had a putting green in our backyard.
Oh,
so
you
I
did?
grew up with a putting green. There's pictures of me at about 2 years old fighting with my father, you know, standing there looking down at me. And
now, was that real grass back then because they didn't have synthetic? Or
they didn't have synthetic.
So it was the real thing.
It was, and we had a pool. And I remember kind of my early days of playing when I was able to take like a mat, like an old doormat, and hit balls across the pool to the putting green. I was feeling pretty good when I'd hit the green all the time.
That's why you have a great short game, huh?
Well, it's why I'm a good swimmer too, because I missed a lot of time. Yeah.
All right, so then on to, well, through high school and everything. Did you play golf in high school?
I did. I played golf in high school. I wasn't really a junior golf guy per se. I didn't, through high school in my first summer, I would always take off and I'd go up to Yosemite and go climbing. And then me and a friend would always take off and go backpacking for about a month. Like when I was 13, I hiked from Tahoe to Yosemite, which kind of amazed me. You know, now I think of my kids at 13.
See, isn't it amazing how our parents let us do that? I mean, I remember doing all kinds of crazy backpacks and hikes down into the Grand Canyon as a mid-teenager. Now, I would never let my children do that.
I won't even let them go to the mall by themselves
I know.
at 13, you know?
I know, it's crazy.
But yeah, we took off and hiked, you know, 70, 80 miles over a week, you know, 8 days, you know, when we're 13 years old.
And your parents
can't believe it.
They didn't worry about it because they knew.
Yeah.
It was a different world. It was a great world.
But that was kind of what I loved doing as a kid. I loved getting out in the wilderness. I loved the backpacking. But I used to go to Yosemite. We used to climb a lot then too. And, you know, I've done some fairly big climbs. And that kind of consumed me much more.
You still get to go out and
young.
do some backpacking and hiking now?
You know what? I haven't slept in a sleeping bag in 20 years.
Really?
Yeah. When I was young, I spent a lot of days under the stars, a lot of evenings under the stars.
Sure.
And, you know, I mean, I loved that. I loved that was what I really loved doing.
Other sports in high school or college at all, besides golf, other sports?
You know, I was really, the best thing I did was I was a good baseball player.
Okay.
But I love football. I played football at Sarah High School.
Is it true that the baseball swing is really the exact same swing as golf, only at an angle? Is that about true?
Well, you know, I have a good friend, Jeff Pentland, who just got the job as a Yankees batting coach, and we play a lot of golf together down at Mesa Country Club. You know, we've talked about the swing a lot, and obviously in baseball, you're kind of trying to get behind the ball a lot more than we are in golf. You're trying to get your hands from the inside, which is not a good shot in golf.
Okay.
You know, that's getting the hips forward and the spine back, and
you
know. But I mean, the other thing is, you know, when you can learn to have that eye ball, back control.
Yeah, I know a lot of
That's what's the
baseball and
great
hockey
thing.
players tend to be pretty good golfers
Yeah.
as well because they have that athletic motion, I guess.
Yeah, especially the hockey players are great golfers. They get on top of it, and they're the best.
Well, they've
golfers.
got that move, you know.
Yeah, because they're on top, really getting their body, that leverage on it. And
Yeah, you know, Aaron Badley said last night that the ball just sits there, and I got to thinking that, yeah, all these other sports, the ball or the puck is moving and quickly, and how athletic those guys and hand-eye coordination has to be. Why is it that golf for an amateur picking up the game tends to be so intimidating and difficult when the ball does just sit there and wait?
yeah.
Why is that?
You know, I think it's, number one, we got to play our foul balls. You know, so,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, in
Yeah.
any other sport, you just hit it and it's a good shot, you know, at least you got a chance to run the bases or whatever.
Yeah,
I think also some of those golf balls might be a little evil. They cut the ears off. That's the last step in the process of making a golf ball. I just found that out. I don't know.
What?
I don't
All right,
know
let's
that.
get to college in Nevada.
Okay.
Didn't we go to school in Nevada?
I did, yeah.
Tell me about your college days and your golf there.
You know, I played with Kirk Triplett. We were teammates there.
Yes, you were, and Kirk's
Yeah.
coming along here in a
That's
bit,
what
and
I
I'm going to
hear.
ask him to tell me some funny stories about you, and we're going to talk about you behind your back. But let's talk about
Yeah.
you and Kurt at Nevada behind his back.
You know, we had a pretty good team. You know, he was a pretty serious guy then.
Yeah. Civil engineering, I heard.
Yeah, he was actually. I think Coach got him there to keep the GPA up for our
What
team.
did you study?
I was in agronomy and horticulture.
Okay.
I started out in business, but I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too good at it, and it made it tough for traveling. But you know, that was one of the things I love doing too is growing things. I
Yeah.
love my planters, and
Hey, I
a lot
love
of times I take some time and I like digging and
Love the gardening
growing
and the
things.
flowering. I love all that.
Yes, exactly. Me
So
too.
did all of that learning about turf and plants and all that, did that help you be a better green reader maybe?
No, but hopefully it was giving me a backup plan in case I wasn't good at it.
Well, you did have a backup plan there for a while. Let's get to that. You went out on tour. You became a pro, I believe, in 1984 or 5? You turned pro. And what happened those first couple of 2 or 3 years that you were out playing golf as a professional? What were you doing?
You know, I was actually going to go work for Morgan Stanley. My father worked for them for a little while when he was young. But anyhow, so he helped me get in there in the training program. And then we got the U.S. Open and Olympic Club for 1987.
Yep.
And that was really when I started. He said, you know, I can always get you back into with Morgan Stanley. Why don't we see how good you can get, you know, and go out and play some golf. And,
Now, you've
and
been
that's
a
what kind of
member.
turned me.
You've been a member of Olympic Club since you were 14 or 15 years
Yeah.
old, correct?
Yes.
And you're still a member.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
We're going to talk about that too, but let's get back. So in 1989, you win on the European Tour. You win the Scottish Open.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big, important tournament over there. But then you left that and you ended up struggling again after that. Why didn't you stay on the European Tour and keep playing and winning over there after the Scottish Open win?
Don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages.
I want to get in the heat on a weekend in a major championship. You got to put yourself in that position and then see what you got. My Wilson staff equipment is critical in that equation. It's an iron that I trust. It's a wedge that's perfect to my eye. And the greatest part of our relationship is, you know, being part of the Wilson family is that I have some input on the design factors. You don't get that from the other club manufacturers. I think the winning takes care of itself, but I passionately wake up each morning trying to become better. It has worked for me since day one as I picked up the game of golf, and I'm going to do it till the day I stop.
And now back to more match play with Ray Adams.
So in 1989, you win on the European Tour. You win the Scottish Open.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big, important tournament over there. But then you left that and you ended up struggling again after that. Why didn't you stay on the European Tour and keep playing and winning over there after the Scottish Open win?
You know, it was kind of an interesting time. I mean, number one, that Scottish Open win was, you know, I say unexpected, but it was amazing. When I won that, it was like an out-of-body experience. I was so in awe and shock. I didn't even know what was really happening those last 5 holes.
Who did you play with the last
I
round?
actually played with Roger Chapman and Martin Poxon.
Okay.
I beat Olazabal and Woozy by 2
Yes,
shots
you did.
each.
You beat
You know?
Ian Woosnam and Jose Maria Olazabal.
Yeah, birding the last hole and birding 4 of the last, or 5 of the last. I think I was 5 under for the last 6 holes, or the last 5 holes. But it was just an amazing, amazing experience to me. I'd never experienced anything like that. I was, you know, but then that led to, you know, I finished about 12th or 13th in the money list.
You were a pretty young guy when you won the Scottish Open. Let me do the math here. What were you, about 22?
I was actually almost 30. I was
Were you
born in-
okay, you, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, it was.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, you were about
But
30.
I'm pretty young compared to now.
Everybody's eternally 39 after you get to a certain point,
That's
right?
Yeah. But it was an incredible thing. And
So
then,
why didn't you stay out there
Yeah.
at that level?
well, it was a great time for me too, because there I am traveling around Europe, seeing the world, you know, and it was great because there in Europe when you went in, there was 20 or 30 guys around the hotel. You went out with 5 or 6 guys and went to this place or that. But I also, you know, I love that, the camaraderie we had over there. But I also love just walking out, and then you're in Stockholm or Madrid, or
yeah.
you know, and it was just so great.
Yeah,
seeing
because
Europe
all
and
of Europe
traveling
is
around.
about the same size as America.
Yeah, and I drove, and you could drive 110 miles an hour everywhere you went. I mean, I just had a great time.
And they
I
probably
loved
had
it.
some pretty good wine over there.
Good wine, beautiful places, great food.
All right, so why didn't you stay?
I know, I can't figure it out either, especially if I had known I was going to struggle so much on tour.
Well, you came back
Yeah.
and you did struggle.
Yeah.
Tell me about those years.
You know what? It started out, I remember the first time I realized I was going to struggle was I was actually leading the LA Open.
Yes.
I'd set a tournament record for 2 days.
And you were in the beginning of the 3rd round. You had after 2 rounds you had
Yeah.
the lead.
And
You
I got
teed
up,
off.
and I
what
got up
happened
on
to
that
dri-
tee, and I stood on top of that hill. And I think I was playing with Hale Irwin and Peter Jacobs.
Oh, no big deal.
I think, yeah. And anyhow, I got up there and I teed up, and I was looking at down there. And that's an intimidating tee shot. And the out of bounds used to be a lot closer, it seemed like, anyhow. Anyhow, there's a big tent over there. I didn't just hit the tent, I hit the other side of the tent.
You were not only at the tent, you were left of the
I
tent.
was over there where they were parking
So what happened to
cars.
that lead?
It went away really quick. You walk off the tee and you're playing with the man, Mike, you know. Now you're the man. So, yeah, it was kind of an intimidating a time for me, actually. It was the first time in the big time for me.
Yeah.
You know, Europe was a little easier. It was a little smaller. All of a sudden, it was like the big time, and you're playing with guys I'd watched on TV growing up, and so
were
it
you
was
a little
tough.
bit starstruck or a little bit
Yeah.
fear-struck by those great players when you were standing on the tee with them?
Yes, I was, and I think that's one of the big changes I've been able to make today is now I really enjoy that competition. I love being out there. I love being with these guys. You know, when I was young like that, I really thought I was good. I thought I could be somebody. But the reality was I was also afraid. You know, it was intimidating, and I didn't enjoy it. And when I work with a couple young guys out here now in the Phoenix Open, and some friends I have that are young guys I play golf with,
Yeah.
I really try and let them know it's really important to have
You're
fun
okay.
what you're doing.
Yeah,
Enjoy
have
it.
fun, you're okay.
Exactly. And you talk to some of these guys like we do here, you know, on the Champions Tour, where you can get them in a different atmosphere. And you get in some of their heads, like Curtis Strange, about how much fun that the experience he had of winning those 2 majors,
Sure.
in a row, the 2 U.S. Opens,
Back to
you know,
back.
and I mean, what a tough experience it was, but also how great it was that here you are, you know, with your butt puckered up, and there's so much adrenaline going through your body, and the veins rushing, and the great experience it was, and who gets to actually do that? And no one's going to die. You don't have to go to war. You know, it was fun. I mean, he
During
really
those
enjoyed
years,
it for
though,
those years.
Michael, as I look back and study your career, and I hear you and listen to you, and I read about some things, the impression I got was that Michael Allen was an excellent player. He had all of the potential and the skills in the bag to do it, but you never really saw yourself as the guy that should be doing it.
Yeah.
You were always a little bit self-deprecating, like, am I really here?
I still am a little self-deprecating, but you're right. I mean, I remember playing with Payne Stewart. You know, I mean, what a guy! I always thought, and I loved going out with him in Europe. I met him over in Europe and had a few really fun times with him over there. And I drank margaritas in his honor for a whole year. But You know, he was a guy that seemed to me was born for that position.
Yeah.
I was just, you know, a little guy trying to make a living,
Yeah.
playing for a paycheck every time, and he was like a star. His persona, his, you know, kind of aura was one of like, he was a star. He was meant to be in that position.
Let's drill down on that for a minute. Do you believe that you and Payne Stewart and a lot of the other guys on tour, and today, all these young guys, you know, they've got no intimidation, no scars. They're new, they're young, they're fresh, and they're out there winning, and they believe they can and will, and they do.
Yeah.
Do you believe that all of the golfers that get to that level are pretty much, as far as the skills go, close, and that the difference in the real winners and the ones that go on and win over and over again and the ones that don't is really all mental?
I truly do. I mean, and you know, most of us growing up, and you know, it's part of our childhood, how we're brought up. It's always, you know, dealing with your self-doubt. And that's what makes us as people. You know, how do we deal with it? How do we? And you know, for me personally, I love tennis. Okay, I watched the Australian Open. I was stuck watching Nadal last night.
It's a great sport. I love to play tennis.
Man, I wish I could. My knees are not quite good enough these days. But I grew up playing tennis. My father was a tennis player. Played at Wimbledon. You know, so it's something I love. But you know, it really comes across there. Or you know, our great players. It's that edge, that mental edge. When Nadal plays Berdych, he's beaten him 17 times in a row until last night.
You just can't win.
He just knows it. Berdych knows he's going to lose. Nadal knows he's going to win. And it is that belief system we have that makes the difference. And it really is. And, you know, it's also having fun, being able to put things in perspective and appreciating and enjoying your circumstance. There's nothing we do well that we do well when we're not having a good time. I love talking to you because I'm enjoying myself, you know?
Well, we're having a great time. I love this.
Yeah.
But you struggled so much there in those years that finally, in 1995, you quit golf.
Yeah.
You were done.
Yeah.
Tell me, why did you quit? And then I know you went on and you worked as an assistant pro at a golf club, and you wanted to wear shorts, so you agreed.
Pretty good golf club.
I'll go out. Well, yeah, Wingfoot or
Wingfoot.
What is that?
Yeah.
So you said, but I want to go outside. I don't want to work in the shop, so I can wear shorts.
Yeah.
You still had the Hawaiian thing going then.
I did, yeah.
So you hosed off all the tee mats so you could get outside. Is that right?
I wanted to wear shorts and Wingfoot. No one wore shorts and Wingfoot at that time, you know? Even the golfers, everybody had to wear pants.
Well, you did have the agronomy degree thing, so you know, it was an outside thing.
Yeah.
So you did that, you did some stock brokerage work, and you worked, I guess, two or three other jobs, but you were out of golf for a couple years.
Yeah, I was...
were you heartbroken, or were you happy?
No, I was frustrated with golf. I had put everything I could into it, and I wasn't getting anything out, and I had a young family.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a struggle for me.
Yeah.
You know, it was really a struggle. And once again, I wasn't happy. So I always thought I was a relatively intelligent person. I could make a living doing something else. And so I started out building some homes. I built a couple homes here in
yeah, you did.
like
you were
up
a
at
home
True.
builder, yeah.
And then I, you know, luckily Tom Neaporti, and I say that in you know, bless his soul, because he has just passed away in the last few months. But he gave me an opportunity at a Wingfoot. I went there and worked for the summer. You know, and the first thing he ever said to me when I walked in, he said, you know, this shop's going to get really busy this summer, and everybody will be running around. He said, but you're here to teach and play the members, so, you know, if it's busy like this and all that, and the phone's ringing, you can answer the phone if you want, but you don't have to.
Okay.
And you know, going in and listening to his stories every day.
He was very good too.
He was always in there writing a check out of a checkbook, you know, and you know, but he just wanted to tell a story, you know. And that was in the end, when I go down and see him, when I go to Boca, I always go by and see him, you know, for an hour or so. You know, he's got Parkinson's, you can't really talk. And you just see the frustration building in him that he wants to let these stories out that he's got, you know, and he's just such an incredible man. I had such a wonderful time meeting him, and he was a wonderful part of my life in a very difficult time.
Don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now she thinks I'm an orthodontist.
Hey, Johnson, I heard your balls are making quite a fuss.
Well, the Duo is the longest and softest ball Wilson Staff has ever made. She's as soft as a baby's elbow.
Soft is for ladies and slow swing speeds.
Oh, then slap my skirt and call me Sally. Let's do this. Drop. Wilson Staff Duo. Long off the tee. Soft around the green.
And now back to more match play with Ray Adams.
What do you like to do for fun? I know you like to have everybody over to that gorgeous home. You like to throw some meat on the grill. You like to crack open a beautiful bottle of red wine. Tell me about those times.
Yeah. You know, I usually like to get there on my Harley or some form of good transportation.
Ooh, the Harley is out.
Yeah, that's what I kind of like doing. That's my getaway.
Now, do you wear a helmet or not?
I only wear a helmet usually when it's not going to help me, like if I was on a freeway, you know? So it's pretty stupid, you know? But, you know, I do. I love riding, and I'm not anything great at it, but I love that. But really, exactly. I mean, I do, you know, I cook a good prime rib, and,
Yeah.
you know, I love a good big red cab, and so, you know, those are my things, and great friends, and that's what I love doing. I mean, it's fun to get together with friends, you know, and people, and have a good time, relax and enjoy life. And
Tell me about the family.
I have my oldest daughter, Christy. She goes to a school called Hillsdale up in Michigan.
She's in Michigan.
Yes, and it's a very kind of conservative school, Hillsdale. I don't know how she quite got there. I guess my wife, you know, they're very much involved in the church. But she got back. She left Hawaii last week and went to Washington, D.C. to go on an internship with at the Federalist Society. So she started that just a couple days ago. Then I have another daughter, Michelle, who is diabetic, and that's kind of our big cause. She is, you know, a senior in high school, a wonderful little track athlete. You know, she's a very good runner. Cross country. She runs like the mile and 2 mile.
Cross country and then mile and 2 mile.
Yeah.
I did cross country and then the 800 meters.
Yeah, I did cross country, and I went to the bar and had a drink and thought about it. You know, it's God, that's a tough sport. I'll tell you what. That's the worst spectator sport in the world.
Well, you can't
you sit there and, hey, girl, let's watch
and then
them
they're
go.
gone.
Yeah, and they run off, and it's like 20 minutes later they come back. You know, hey, all right.
Kind of like the crowd on Sunday at the Accenture match play.
That's
I did not say that. That was that other guy that goes with me sometimes.
yeah.
So she's in track. The other one's in college doing an internship. And tell me about your wife.
How did
you guys meet?
We met actually at a golf tournament.
You met at a golf tournament?
Yeah, out in Atlanta.
You mean she was a roadie and followed you around?
I consider her more of a groupie, but she, you know, yeah, she wasn't. She's a wonderful lady. We've been married for 22, 23 years.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, 2 wonderful kids, and we have a nice life together. She's been a wonderful partner. She worked for the Hershey Chocolate Company back then, and
she weathered all those years
and put up with me for a long time.
With those couple of years when you did quit in '95 and you were done with golf and you were trying to work and build houses and do whatever you're doing, what was her position at that point? What was she obviously very supportive, but was she glad that you didn't have that huge pressure and you were going to go do something different that was be more steady, or was she sort of bearing a little bit of that burden that you weren't in golf anymore?
Well, you know, I'll tell you, one of the things that she's been so wonderful about is she's not one of these women that wants to go spend money. And so, especially through all these really hard times, you know, she was always there I've never had that pressure.
Yeah.
You know, some of these guys, they start doing real well, and all their wives just spend more and more and more, you know. And my wife is always, you know, she'll still shop with coupons, and I try and go, hey, come on, stop, man, let's go.
It's okay.
You know, yeah, it's okay to have, you know, a nice steak or whatever.
Isn't that
you know?
nice, though?
And
Isn't
so
that, what
she's
a
been a
blessing.
wonderful support like that.
Good for you.
And I remember in those times, I mean, she was always there, and we actually went and lived with her family for a while, and, you know, we'd take care of a few homes, but.
All right, Michael Allen, I tell you, I have been waiting for this, and you have not let me down. And folks, here he is. He's a rock star on the Champions Tour, and he's as comfortable in your own skin as you've ever been in life, Michael. Congratulations, and thanks for being with me.
Well, Ray, thanks for having me on. Finally, it's been you keep promising, but you've never done it before.
Oh,
so
that's
about
not.
time you hold up.
Michael Allen on Match Play, folks.
Take care.
I sure hope you had as much fun today as I did. It's always such a joy to get to know these talented men and women professionals who make this wonderful game look so easy. They're not just fantastic golfers though. You know, they're great people too. Until next time, for all of us here at Match Play, I'm Ray Adams, wishing you long drives and long lives. I'll see you on the first tee. Many blessings.